The Fix is in. The Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by GV Art and Design. It's not just a shirt, it's a statement. GVArtwork.com.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media. Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. Join The Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
Hey Cleveland, this is Anderson Varejão of the Cleveland Cavaliers. You are listening to the Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Welcome in, my friends. We're live on the air, off and running today, Thursday edition of the Sports Fix here as we wind down another week. Man, these things are flying by, and there's only, 2 weeks left in this whole year, man. Holidays coming up, man. Wow. Snap of a finger. I swear it feels like last week we were promoting Mick Foley coming to the Improv, and now we're promoting Christmas and Santa Claus coming to the chimney. So, another day here, a loaded edition of the Sports Fix, by the way, coming your way. We've got a whole slate of guests here coming up. Kendall Lewis, the BSK, going to join us here. It's been he caught us for a few minutes last week off of his usual time slot, but it's been hit and miss with Kendall here the last few weeks, and yeah, we were texting this morning, man. He said, usual time, be there with a smile on, man. He's ready to talk. Of course, I'm sure he's got a few things to say about the Browns, Johnny football, all of that stuff here as as that thing rolls on. We'll talk to the BSK about it. Seriously, it'll be interesting because I know where he was. I'm curious to see where he's at and going forward. I'm going to talk to Mike Pettine, addressed Bernie Kosars a little bit yesterday. We'll talk about that here coming up here. I'm going to talk Cavs to start things off, by the way. Yes, Charles, it is. You're absolutely right. It's always a loaded edition of the Sports Fix here. This one just a little busier. No, not really. It's as usual Thursday, actually. Yeah, you know what? We're just a really busy show. Good call, Charles. We're just a really busy show all the time. Kendall Lewis is here. Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. He's going to be with us here talking a little bit about, we'll talk some Gavin Floyd. I'm sure that name will come up. Talk Indians here. Interested to talk to Mike. Check in with him. Looking forward to that one. BJ Rudell, talk about looking forward. It's championship. Well, in our league, it's semifinal week. In a lot of leagues, it is. In some leagues, it's finals, championships, fantasy football. And then, of course, there's all the daily leagues, DraftKings, all of those things. I know DraftKings has the big million maker tournament here coming up this weekend. So, BJ Rudell, you know what that means. Fantasy football for winners. Championship edition coming your way today. BJ is going to be with us a little bit later, get you set and give you some of those tips that'll help you whether you're in the final week here and maybe you're a little more locked in, and definitely with your day-to-day stuff coming up this weekend. BJ Rudell, Mike Brandenberry, Kendall Lewis going to open the phones. We've got a ton of news to talk about. Vikings have a big game today to get into. We'll preview that a little bit later, taking on number 6 Virginia here, nationally televised game. We'll get into that. Buckeyes with the victory last night. Speaking of college hoops, we'll talk some NBA trade talk here. Rondo, perhaps, heading down south, heading down to Dallas. We'll talk about all of that and more. I'm going to open up talking Cavs. We'll get the phones open at some point. Let's do it. Welcome to the Sports Fix. I am the master of ceremonies, your host, the Big Daddy on the microphone. J-Rock Jerry Myers with you guys here each and every weekday at noon, live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. Maybe you're listening to us live here on TuneIn and TuneIn's radio app. Shout out to all of you listening on Spreaker Live and their digital application, and on the mobile apps as well, on Mixler and on the sportsfix.net, our home base where you can get everything you need in one stop right there. Make sure you bookmark it, thesportsfix.net, your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Welcome in as well those of you thousands around the world listening on digital delay on iHeartRadio, the world's largest internet radio provider, on iTunes and Stitcher Radio and SoundCloud and CarPlay. Now, all the live platforms have on-demand services as well, too. Thank you guys for being with us. Welcome in, no matter how you listen, feed, subscribe, download, or enjoy or don't enjoy the sports. Maybe you torture yourself every day. I mean, we take it for granted that everybody enjoys this. Maybe there's people out there that hate it so much that they have to come back every day and suffer through it so that they can listen to what we talk about. I don't know. Whatever your reason is, having some fun. Thank you for doing it. And, of course, being a part of the show. Phone lines, when they're open. Some days they're more open than others. 216-539-7535. But don't let that stop you. If you can't get through, leave your message, and we'll play it on the show live as it came in. No, I don't even edit it. I'm just going to, well, unless you go a little bit off the vocabulary track there, then I might have to bleep you out a bit. Other than that, I'll leave it as you put it. 216-539-7535, or you can hit us up. It's the easiest way on social media, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at the SportsFix, CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Hell, I think we're out there on Pinterest somewhere, and I don't think there's an Instagram, but there's like a Tumblr, and I don't know. The Sports Fix is out there. There were LinkedIn. Ron Graham gets us out there in the social media world. But anyways, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at the SportsFix CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. And Kendall Lewis is actually going to join us kicking things off here just about 7-8 minutes from now. So first couple minutes of the show before we hit the break, I do want to talk a little bit. Got to address the Cavaliers here last night. I'll start you off with a pun if you want it. That was some offensive defense last night. That's the best way to put that. Non-existent, no, actually, would be a better term. And it's not like this a new thing. In really the last 4 games, even the one that they were able to hold on with Charlotte. Defense, they let Charlotte come all the way back after that hot beginning. Defense problems in all of their losses, period. I mean, it's easy to sum it down to the biggest reason. I mean, listen, guys, no offense, and hey, I'm not giving, expert basketball advice to the Cavs or anything here, but just because you're within 3 feet of your man when he takes a shot doesn't mean you are necessarily playing good man-on-man defense. Last night, I'm telling you, I mean, how many times did we see pass? I mean, and I'll tell you, that's a good passing team. We talked about that when we previewed the game a little bit yesterday, and you can see it. They move the ball around a lot, but they have no problem, again, finding that weakness in the Cavs defense when they lazy down. And that's what they do. They settle into being lazy. They miss one switch too many, and you end up with a man wide open and somebody, and I'll tell you, last night it was Kyrie Irving a couple times. It was LeBron James a handful of times. Kevin Love a handful of times. They're 3-4 feet away with the token hand going up at the end, and meanwhile, 4-point-a-game Shelvin Mack is just going to town on you last night. And it doesn't matter if you're Shelvin Mack, replace the name. Have you noticed the Cavs also seem to have a tendency when they lack up defensively, they don't even go out and get beat by the best player on the other team. It'll be a Shelvin Mack. It'll be an Anderson. It'll be one of these guys that goes to town on you. But it's not playing defense, man. I mean, that's the easiest way. The Cavs putting the ball in the hole is not a problem. They've got enough players that can score that, that's not the problem. Now, obviously, ball movement's an issue from time to time. That's not what I'm saying. But the defensive side of the ball, and look at the difference. They had that 8-game streak going, and so much of that came defensively. A lot of their offense came from the defensive side of the ball. And then they get out of it. Whether it was, hey, what I think it is, which is, hey, we got our head up in the clouds here. We won 8 games. All of a sudden, all the problems are behind us, and it's going to be full steam ahead. And you go right back and slip right back into the same issues that cost you. And pretty much in every loss, you can go back and find those same things. You can go back into tapes of all of the losses, and except for 1 or 2. And even in those, there were still defensive breakdowns. But, all the way back to night 1, LeBron 3 feet away from Carmelo Anthony, token defense. And, LeBron, and I'm not going to unfairly just point out him, but he is, as the leader, as the self-appointed break down the game every night guy, and I'll give you that. He's right there, not playing defense with the rest of them as well. And I understand, some of the guys that are older, they know the veteran tricks. All the veterans will tell you in any sport, they've got the little veteran tricks, how to save a little bit of energy here, how to save a little bit of energy there. And I get that, but there's a difference between that and out laziness. And I've got to say that's what it is, because you can say, like I see Larry talking about guys don't know how to do it consistently. Now, I'll give you that on the younger guys. I'll give you that. But, with LeBron, and hey, if you're going to sit on the throne, then you have to deal with the good and the bad that comes with it. He doesn't have that excuse. With him, it is laziness. It is not going that extra level on defense because it's the regular season or because it's the Knicks or whatever internal justification those guys come up with, And even now, when you get this far into the season here, even though we're still early on, Kyrie, he saw the difference when he plays defense. You can say he wasn't playing defense in any of the last 3 years. That's fine. He's playing defense at times now. He knows the difference now. There are younger guys that do need to learn, as you're saying there, Larry, how to do it on a consistent basis. But I've got to go to the leader. And that's because it's your job as that to set an example. I'm not talking about what you say in the media, but when guys see you take plays off, they see that. And I'm just saying, man, you can tell me there's different rules for stars. You can tell me that, LeBron can do what he wants because he's won championships. That's fine, but other people see it. And if you want to live in the world where those things aren't real, that's fine. You probably have different beliefs than I do in that. That's fine. But I know the reality of people and egos and athletes and teams and how they flow together, and that's part of it. That's the example. And again, I'm not going to bury LeBron. Kyrie Irving played no defense. How many times did Max shake it? I get it. I do get a kick out of listening to Fred and AC, because AC, he won't mind pointing out a guy's defensive mistakes, and he's now gotten to where he'll point out LeBron's, but he never says the name. It's actually funny. Those of you guys that listen to the local Cleveland broadcasts, you'll know what I'm talking about. AC, he's good at pointing that stuff out. He'll be like, double T, he's got to switch and make sure that he doesn't leave his man wide open. But on the next one, it'll be, well, see, you can't not rotate and not get the guy for 3. You got to cover your man but he doesn't throw the name in. I saw several of those last night, and you could hear it in his voice, like Austin Carr shaking his head while he's saying it, because LeBron knows better. It's just being lazy. It's being a step slow. And Kyrie Irving, all of these guys, again, not piling it on LeBron, but he sets the example. And shut up in the chat room, Charles. He sets the example, and it does all fall down the line from there. And too, last night. Again, really, I can't even go past defense, because to me, you would have won that game. How do you go from blowing this same team out the last time you played them here to turning it around and seeing what you see? And last night, by the way, after the game, I got a kick out of Kyrie Irving. I actually appreciated the fact that he went out on the floor and shot some more, got some more work in, even though the offense isn't the problem. To me, it's on the other side of the ball, but it's not as easy to go out and practice defense after the game as it is to go out there and put some shots up, But exactly, Vashon, that's what I'm saying. I like AC. You guys know I like him. Jumping back, because we've got the chat room here, and I'm responding to some comments for those of you listening on the radio. But yeah, he does. AC is the first one to point out everybody else missing on defense. And when it's LeBron, he does it, but then he just doesn't say the name. And you go, oh, come on, man. What, is it that big of a deal? Like, is that going to cause? But you know what? After watching the Plain Dealer yesterday, break down the Zapruder film of Johnny Manziel's entrance to see who high-fived him and who didn't, I definitely am sure that would turn into the next big debacle that people can spend 3 days breaking down in Cleveland sports. So maybe that's why. But yeah, it does drive me nuts. It's like he goes, I can point it out because people see it, but I'm not going to say the name, they know who I'm talking about. I get a kick out of it because if it's Tristan, you can bet he's going to say Double T missed his rotation. If it's Deli, he's going to say Deli missed his man. But if it's who, he's just going to say, oh, you got to play better defense than that, guy. No, he doesn't go that far, but he just doesn't say what the name of